Yesterday, a star was born over at the White House. The brand new White House press secretary, Karoline Leavitt, is 27 years old. She took to the podium yesterday, and she announced a massive sea change in how the White House is actually going to be treating the media. First, she said that there would, in fact, be a brand new, important focus on new media, that instead of legacy media being given all sorts of special attention, the new media would be given all sorts of attention. One of the members of the new media was there. That, of course, is our own Margaret Olohan. She is our senior White House reporter. She was in the room. Mary Margaret, thanks for joining the show.
Hey, Ben. It's great to be here.
So let's talk about the mood in the room. Obviously, it was very, very packed. There were a lot of new media figures. It was different from the past. Talk about what it was like in there.
Yeah, so it was incredibly crowded. I was not expecting that many members of the press to be there. At one point, I had someone pressed into my back and very close to me in the front as well. There were so many members of the press there, and they were excited for this new transparency of the Trump administration, which we really did not see during the Biden administration. As Karoline talked about during the briefing, there were very few press briefings and very little access to more than, the very top legacy members of the press. So yesterday during the briefing, we saw Breitbart get called on. We saw the Daily Caller get called on. We even saw TPUSA's new White House correspondent get called on. And Karoline talked about how there's going to be an effort to include members of the new media in the briefings, including giving them a seat on the side. So there's going to be a rotating seat that we hope to have access to as a member of the new media, and we'll be able to participate in the briefings in a much more legit way than new media has been able to in the past, because as you know, Ben, this is typically given to members of the legacy press. Often the people in the front rows are the only ones that get questions. That's CNN, the Associated Press, Fox, these very established legacy media outlets. So that's really exciting for us. And Karoline made a very strong statement at the beginning of this briefing saying we are going to be transparent. We're going to be allowing new media access.
In fact, we do have a clip here of Karoline Leavitt. She was asked a question by the legacy media asking about standards of truth inside the White House, and here she was slamming the legacy media.
Since you brought up TruthSeek, I would like to point out, while I vowed to provide the truth from this podium, we ask that all of you in this room hold yourselves to that same standard. We know for a fact there have been lies that have been pushed by many legacy media outlets in this country about this president, about his family, and we will not accept that. We will call you out when we feel that your reporting is wrong or there is misinformation about this White House. So yes, I will hold myself to the truth, and I expect everyone in this room to do the same.
So, Mary Margaret, obviously there's a sea change in how the media are being treated at the White House. Did you have any responses from the legacy media to the fact that they are now being treated equally and with equal status to new media, like Daily Wire, for example?
Well, there was a lot of murmuring in the press room, but in general, it seems like people were open to the changes. They understood that this was going to happen. And look, this was not completely out of the blue. Donald Trump Jr. came on Michael Knowles' show earlier this year and talked about how the White House wanted to shake things up. We've heard that from members of the press team throughout the campaign, that this was an effort they really wanted to promote. Of course, there might be some grumblings going forward, but in general, just one seat on the side for new media, that's a great thing. And I think that's going to allow much better access. But also, there's effort to allow influencers and podcasters and people with big profiles into the briefing room to help people understand what's going on. As Karoline talked about, there has been such a shift in trust in media. Young people are getting their media from very different sources, and we saw that throughout the presidential election. We saw that in the way they consumed media from people like yourself, Ben, at the Daily Wire, rather than Fox News shows or typical places that you might expect that people would get their media. So this is a change, and it's fitting to the media landscape right now, and I'm excited to see how it goes.
That's Mary Margaret Olohan, our senior White House reporter. Congratulations on actually now being an accepted member of the White House Press Corps. Really appreciate it, Mary Margaret.
Thank you so much.
As we welcome a brand new year, it's time to focus on what matters the most. Meat! I'm not even kidding, because here's the thing. Meat is wonderful, and GoodRanchers.com brings you the meat that you need at the price that you want. They're here to help you turn all your resolutions into solutions. When you buy your meat from Good Ranchers, you're directly supporting local farms and ranches in the United States, skipping the chaos and imported meat in the grocery store. Good Ranchers delivers high-quality, 100% American meat straight to your door, so you can start 2025 with better choices, better meals, and better moments at home while still enjoying steakhouse-quality meats. The best part? No antibiotics, hormones, or seed oils, so you can feel good about what you're fueling your body with. It also saves you valuable time and money. All the cuts are pre-trimmed and pre-portioned, which makes meal prep so easy on even the busiest of days. They're all individually packaged and vacuum sealed as well, so you have less waste. You never have to throw freezer-burned cuts away again. Remember, visit GoodRanchers.com, use my code BEN, claim $25 off, free express shipping, and your choice of free ground beef, chicken, or salmon in every order for an entire year. If spending more time with family, spending less money on going out to eat, enjoying quality, nutritious American food is on your resolution list this year, well, be sure to visit GoodRanchers.com, use my code BEN today for meat that delivers. Just that. GoodRanchers.com, American meat delivered. Alrighty, well, as we say, Karoline Leavitt was a star yesterday. She had a bunch of exchanges with members, largely of the legacy media, that did not go particularly well for the members of the legacy media. Again, I've not seen a robust press response by a Republican administration this way, certainly in my lifetime. You probably have to go back to the Reagan administration to see anything like it, and I'm not even sure how good that was, considering that back then you had 3 major TV networks and only a couple of major newspapers, and now you actually have alternative media available. Here was Karoline Leavitt. She was questioned about whether the administration would be deporting only criminals or whether it would be deporting all illegal immigrants. Here was Karoline Leavitt slapping around a member of the media.
Of the 3,500 arrests ICE has made so far since President Trump came back into office, can you just tell us the numbers? How many have a criminal record versus those who are just in the country illegally?
All of them, because they illegally broke our nation's laws and therefore they are criminals as far as this administration goes. I know the last administration didn't see it that way, so it's a big culture shift in our nation to view someone who breaks our immigration laws as a criminal, but that's exactly what they are.
Man, she is good at this. She's very, very good at this. Again, she is an aggressive defender of the president's agenda. She was also questioned by legacy media about inflation. So the media finally decided that inflation matters, but only once Trump is president. So they asked her about the price of eggs, and she went off.
Really glad you brought this up, because there is a lot of reporting out there that is putting the onus on this White House for the increased cost of eggs. I would like to point out to each and every one of you that in 2024, when Joe Biden was in the Oval Office, or upstairs in the residence sleeping, I'm not so sure, egg prices increased 65% in this country. We also have seen the cost of everything, not just eggs. Bacon, groceries, gasoline have increased because of the inflationary policies of the last administration. As far as the egg shortage, what's also contributing to that is that the Biden administration in the Department of Agriculture directed the mass killing of more than 100 million chickens, which has led to a lack of chicken supply in this country, therefore a lack of egg supply, which is leading to the shortage.
Okay, again, this administration is not being run like prior Republican administrations. Speaking of which, the Trump administration has now ramped up deportations after a fairly slow start. One of the reasons that the deportation numbers have been lower for Trump is because the number of people arriving on the southern border has absolutely cratered under Donald Trump. People are not showing up on the southern border. Many of the supposed deportations that were undertaken by, for example, the Obama administration were actually what we call turnbacks at the border. People who would arrive and the administration would simply say, you can't get in. Nobody's even bothering to show up at the southern border knowing that Donald Trump is immediately going to turn everyone away, that CBP, that ICE are not going to allow people to use the border of the United States as a sort of porous Swiss cheese zone where you can move through at will. But according to the Wall Street Journal, ICE made nearly 1,200 arrests on Sunday and just under 1,000 on Saturday, marking an uptick after arrest numbers in President Trump's first few days were roughly in line with daily averages seen under the Biden administration. The media are predictably upset about all of this. Stephen Miller, again, was on with Jake Tapper on CNN, and Jake Tapper was asking who exactly is going to, pick the fruit and pick the vegetables. And Stephen Miller was like, Jake, the number of illegal immigrants who actually are in the fields picking fruits and veggies is pretty low.
So, how does President Trump make sure that the effort to deport people who are not in this country legally doesn't end up hurting Americans who want safe borders, absolutely, but also don't want to see even more higher prices in groceries?
Well, I mean, I'm sure it's not your position, Jake, you're just asking the question, that we should supply America's food with exploitative illegal alien labor. I obviously don't think that's what you're implying. Only 1% of alien workers in the entire country work in agriculture. The top destination for illegal aliens are large cities like New York, like Los Angeles, and small industrial towns, of course, all across the heartland, as we've seen with the Biden floods. Mm-hmm. None of those illegal aliens are doing farm work. Those 30,000 legal aliens that Joe Biden dumped into Springfield.
Yeah, I'm talking about the ones that are.
But I'm explaining this. It's important to understand.
No, you're kind of changing the subject. I mean, I'm talking about the ones.
I will give me 30 minutes. I'll go as deep as you want on this. I'm explaining to you and your audience.
I don't have a I'm talking about the ones that work in the agriculture industry.
I'm
You can
explaining
come back
to you
and we
your
can talk
audience.
about the ones in the cities. I swear.
I'll do the whole answer. The illegal aliens that Joe Biden brought into our country are not full stop doing farm work. They are not. The illegal aliens he brought in from Venezuela, from Haiti, from Nicaragua, they are not doing farm work. They are in our cities collecting welfare.
Everybody knows that this is true. This is obviously true. And the agricultural conversation has been a misdirect for a very long time. As Stephen Miller points out, we do have temporary farm work that is available for people who cross into the United States legally. That is an actual program under President Trump. Are you tired of the lies and the twist of the mainstream media talking points? Yeah, me too. Join me in my newest series, Fact, where I dismantle and bring truth to this tiring mainstream agenda.